Welcome back to my channel. My name is Kelsey. This is my baby Leia. Say hi. I also have this huge stack of books, and this is my June TBR. Full discretion, it is June 5th when I'm recording this, and I have read a couple of books. I'm in the middle of a couple of books, so let's get into it. The first book I'm in the middle of is A Storm of Swords by George R.R. Martin. I started this last month. I am 400 pages into 973. So love that. I'm not going to talk about it. I feel like everybody kind of knows what Game of Thrones is. It's a high fantasy, takes place in Westeros. The king dies and many among them wish to be king as well. And this is the third book. It is the book where a lot of shit goes down, pretty much. I don't know, I'm in the middle of it right now. Not a lot has really happened, but yet so much has happened. This is, alas, my issue with describing the Game of Thrones books. The next book I wanted to read this month and finish is Autobiography by Christina Lauren. This is the story of Tanner and Sebastian, two boys growing up in Provo, Utah, and both struggling with their sexuality and religion. Tanner is bisexual and not a Mormon, and Sebastian is unsure of his sexuality and is a Mormon. And I'm not gonna get into my feelings and thoughts on the novel, but just know that I enjoyed it. The next book I finished, just completed today, is I Was Born for This by Alice Oseman. This follows two main characters, two point of view characters, Angel Rahimi and Jimmy Kagorichi. Jimmy is a part of this band called The Ark. They jumped up into stardom and into fame, and he's struggling with it. And Angel is a fan of the band, a super fan if you will, and she has just landed in London, England to watch their show, and things ensue. I also enjoyed this one, but you will have to hear more about that in my wrap-up. I also would like to get to Of Fire and Stars by Audrey Coulthurst. This is the story of Princess Dana. She is betrothed to a prince in another land where magic is prohibited, and she has an affinity for fire. When she gets to the other castle, she meets the prince and his sister, Mara. And all I know is that this is a female-female romance between the princess and the other princess. And that's all I really care about, to be honest. Is there anything more we need in life? No. So I am 26 pages into this, and I can't wait to love it. I would also like to read They Both Die in the End by Adam Silvera. This is Adam Silvera's third book. It follows two boys named Mateo and Rufus, who both receive a call on a specific day telling them that they are dying. And they go onto this app looking for people who are also dying on the same day. They spend the day doing the things that they want to do and consoling one another. I just expect this to make me cry my brains out, and I'm really looking forward to that. I can always rely on Adam Silvera to do that for me. I would also like to get to The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. I read this in CEGEP.
Hello. So, for those of you who don't live in the very small province of Quebec in Canada, CEGEP is pre-university here.
I don't have my copy anymore, and I remember just loving this book a lot. I really appreciate Oscar Wilde as an author, and I'm adding him to this list because I really wanted to focus my month on supporting LGBTQ plus stories. And from what I understand and from what all my teachers have implied, Oscar Wilde was under the LGBT umbrella. And I don't know if I'm remembering things specifically from the movie or like what the movie kind of implied, but I do want to give this a shot this month, and I think it's absolutely perfect. I don't know if Oscar Wilde was a good individual, but if I'm going to read a classic this month, it might as well be something from an LGBT individual. I will also be getting to Final Draft by Riley Redgate this month. This is for the Dragons and Tea Book Club, which is hosted by Melanie from Mel to the Any and Amy from A Court of Crowns and Quills. This is a story about Layla, who really enjoys writing and was always supported by the teachers and people around her. Unfortunately, one day she has another creative writing teacher who constantly puts down her work. I read Riley Redgate's novel Noteworthy maybe last year or the year before, and I really enjoyed it. I really like Riley Redgate's writing, and I really like the representation that she puts into her novels, so I know I will definitely enjoy this. I think that this main character is pansexual. I'm really looking forward to reading something from that perspective. I also really want to get to Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston this month. From what I understand, this is a story about a bisexual boy named Alex, whose mother is the president after the 2016 elections. And he is in kind of a turmoil, and Alex has beef with the Prince of England, Henry. The two governments, the United States government and the United Kingdom government, are on damage control, and they really want to represent them both as getting along. And so they enter this kind of fake friendship. So this has kind of like every trope I enjoy, which is hate to love, fake dating, fake relationship, whatever. I'm just really looking forward to read this. Everybody and their mother who have read this novel so far loved it, and everybody gave it 5 out of 5 stars. I haven't seen one negative review for this novel, and so this just makes me even more excited to read this, and this is like one that's high on my reading list. I would also really like to get to The Brilliant Death by Amy Rose Capetta. This is an Italian-inspired novel. From what I've heard, the main character in this novel, Teodora, is a non-binary character who is a strega, and in Italian strega means witch, and upon her father being poisoned by the ruler of Vinalia, Teodora needs to go to the city disguised as a boy to save her father. So I'm really intrigued by this, especially because it's inspired by Italian folklore. So I'm hoping to really enjoy this. And going along the Amy Rose Capetta train, I also would like to read Once and Future by Amy Rose Capetta and Corey McCarthy. These two authors are a couple, and this is the story about King Arthur, but with a twist. Basically, the lore in this novel is that every few years, Arthur is reincarnated into multiple individuals. This reincarnation, he is a girl named Ari, and she is the 42nd reincarnation of King Arthur. This is basically King Arthur in space, and nobody needed to tell me more to get me to buy this book. I'm really excited to read this. I have so many books. I haven't heard the best of things, but I'm hoping that because I am such a
English literature history nerd who loves sci-fi,
that this could be up my alley. I'm hoping. I really want to enjoy this. And then because all these books weren't enough, and I love to torture myself and set too high expectations, and I'm already reading Game of Thrones, I set out a challenge for myself at the beginning of the year to read 12 nonfiction books and 12 fiction books that have been on my TBR the longest. And so we are going to pick them today. Now, I always get mixed up if this is fiction or nonfiction. And my friend Danica told me to put labels on things, but obviously I don't listen to people. So I think this is nonfiction, and I like picking the nonfiction first, so. Ooh! So I picked out So You've Been Publicly Shamed by Jon Ronson. This is a nonfiction novel that focuses on what it's like to be shamed in today's current climate, what with social media and stuff like that and cancel culture. This is something that really fascinates me. So basically, Jon Ronson traveled the world to make this book to visit people who were publicly shamed on social media and what the repercussions are and how we can kind of change whilst still teaching these people a lesson, but understanding where cancel culture comes from and how it might not be a good thing. So I'm very interested to read this. I have been hoping this one would come up in my jar, so I'm really happy to have picked it out this month. And now the fiction, please, not a big one. I say this every month, but if it's Goldfinch, I'm putting it back. No. It Was All the Light We Cannot See. She's going back. Although, I have the audiobook for it on Scribd. Let me check. Yep, so because this is a book I really want to read, and it is on Scribd, I found the audiobook, I'm deciding to stick with All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Doerr. This is the story about two kids who grow up in a war-torn World War II Europe, one in Paris and one in Germany. I've heard people describe this book so much, and I've read the back countless times trying to figure out how to describe this. But all I know about this novel is that this is two kids who come together, Marie-Laure and Werner, from warring countries, both having lost many of the people they loved, come together in St. Malo as Doerr illuminates ways against all odds. People try to be good to one another. This is the winner of the Pulitzer Prize. I know I'll probably enjoy this, especially now that I have the audiobook. And I know this is gonna break me, so do we really need to know what it's about? I'll let you know once I read it. Because I have to get these two absolutely read this month. These are all the books I want to get read this month. I'm not even gonna attempt to pick this up. You could probably see all of them, and you can see that they're all fairly heavy. That's it for me. Like and subscribe, ring the little bell, argue with me in the comments, or just, you know what, comment generally. I love reading comments. I love arguing with people. I love debating with people. So just hit me up, you know. I feel very awkward right now hugging my book. So I don't know how to end these things. I will see you next time.